A few days ago, I went live to analyze Harry's speech for Mandela Day at the United Nations in New York. This is a summary of that live with further insights that reveal the current state of the Harkle's life troubles, as you're about to find out. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. The first impression you have upon seeing Harry sitting next to Meghan is those eyes just lost in the distance, that 1,000-yard stare. I understand that one can be nervous when you're about to give a speech, especially when you want to make a good impression in front of millions. But Harry is no stranger to public speaking, and in more than one occasion, he has been competent enough. But when he stood up in front of everyone, the feeling that immediately struck was that he was somehow angry. His facial expressions included a tense jaw and brow. His eyes projected hostility and his body language was stiff. That's a real problem because the first 3 minutes of any speech are perhaps the most important. It is your chance to grab the audience's attention. But he was thanking the opportunity to speak at this event, and his expression was of being upset. Right from the get-go, a huge contradiction. Could it be that Harry did not like Meghan's behavior? On one hand, when they went in the building, they had their usual couple body language. The posture, the stride, and their facial expressions were classic Harry and Meghan. But you saw the moment when Meghan tried to hold his hand and then he took it away. Like he was not comfortable at the moment with physical touch. Or somehow realized that, no matter how much you love your other half, these are not the best scenarios for public displays of affection. Maybe the working royals are right? Meghan didn't think twice and used a double Markle claw to claim ownership. Harry's face expression changed immediately. You could say that this was only a coincidence, that Harry was upset for any other reason, but his legs became restless too. It's like instead of soothing him, her proximity only made him more nervous. And it gets worse when he's behind the lectern. There are parts of the speech that are well written, but Harry just doesn't give them justice.
I've come to understand the man through his legacy. The letters he wrote alone in his prison cell, the speeches he delivered to his people, and those incredible shirts that he sported.
Whoever wrote the speech knows about the rule of 3. When you're giving examples or characteristics, you use 3 of them. The third one can be used to add some levity. This humor tool always works, provided that you make sure people understand that the third one is a joke. And the best way to do it is to use contrasting body language, like this. The letters he wrote alone in his prison cell, the speeches he delivered to his people, and those incredible shirts that he sported. But Harry doesn't even try. He says the joke with the charisma of a rock. And I don't mean Chris Rock or Dwayne Johnson. I mean an actual rock. Now, I understand that not everyone has the talent to nail this delivery. But there's one word that destroys any excuse, and that is practice. Case in point, the most famous stutterers in the world who became famous for their speaking abilities. Demosthenes, Churchill, and effing Darth Vader. Yeah, those are extreme examples, but also prove that anyone can become a great public speaker or have a commanding voice in spite of physical hurdles. And Harry must have access to the best specialists in the world. Not only speech writers, but public speaking gurus and even body language coaches. No, not me, but still. Don't you think that if a speech was important to you, you would at least prepare your delivery in advance? Practice it a couple dozen times? The UN is a huge platform that you can use at will. Having that attitude with such an opportunity just tells the world that you don't really care about it, that you don't believe in your own words. But what about Meghan? Doesn't she know how to deliver a public speech? Hasn't she been praised for her public speaking abilities? Do you find any logic in the fact that a woman with those skills would like to see her husband give such a lousy presentation? Oh, they are so busy with their family life that they don't have time for things such as practice. Then don't do this. Go home and play with your kids. Because you are harming your image and reputation with this pathetic attempt at grown-up life. And I mention Meghan because for some reason she's okay with this. She doesn't feel embarrassed or anything. It's like she wanted Harry to look bad. It would not be surprising that at some point she decides to give a speech. And she's gonna give it by the book. And people are inevitably going to compare them. And guess what? By contrast, Meghan wins. And there's more proof about this just because pictures like this one exist and what's more are being professionally sold in stock photo websites. I mean, who's ready to shell out $400 for a license to use this? Yes, there's a lot of meme potential, but that's it. Jokes aside, I think this image is extremely unflattering and borderline bad taste. This is the kind of pictures that spark those concerns about Harry's general state of being. Like, is he okay? Because he doesn't look good. But what is even more baffling is that all it would take is just one phone call and this photo will be unlisted from this website in a matter of hours. Why can't Meghan move her influences for that? Why Harry doesn't do anything about it? I would love to make sense of this, but it doesn't. It's like the producers. It's like they're trying to fail at all costs. Now, I mentioned the good parts of this speech, but there are other perfect examples of a train wreck.
And let's be honest. How many of us are in danger of losing those life belts right now? How many of us feel battered, helpless, in the face of the seemingly endless stream of disasters and devastation?
This was a complete mistake. I understand that one should talk in the second person, as in us, so you can connect with the audience like we're part of the same team. But in cases like this, when you want to address people that are struggling at the end of the rope, desperate for a light at the end of the tunnel, it's beyond tone deaf to say, how many of us are in danger of losing those lifeboats right now? How many of us feel battered? Although, like some people mentioned during my live stream, Harry looks better, so there's that. There's no doubt that Meghan is pushing for this kind of appearances to lay the groundwork for her political aspirations. The thing is that you can go only so far making a fool of yourself. You can get all the attention you want, but people are not going to take you seriously. You command the attention and then use that attention so people listen to what you are bringing to the table. But the Harkles have committed the worst sin of communications. They have just taken from their audience and from their fans over and over again without bringing anything of substance. Like Harry when he says that in Africa lies his main line of work. That left me dumbfounded, because I don't remember at all what is Harry's line of work, besides driving Miss crazy. Being tone deaf, out of touch, looking defeated is not going to cut it. So it's possible that more sooner than later they're going to divorce their respective personal brands. Because Harry just wanted to be free, right? But he is under even more pressure to deliver than when he was a working royal. And let's face it, when you see these two men side by side, which one looks like he's trapped? Which one looks like he needs help? You don't need to be a body language expert to know the answer. Remember to follow my second YouTube channel, The Royal Rogue, for all my content on the British royal family. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.